You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 24th meeting of the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. Anthony, can you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Joyce Dalton,
Present?
Dan Granquist,
Here.
Pat Massey,
Here.
Amy Bowen,
Here.
Lauren Zimmer,
Here.
Anthony Hicks here, Steve Hill,
Present.
Deborah Parcell,
Here.
our
Sylvia's here
Sylvia Martin,
and Dee Haddock.
and Dee Haddon. Alrighty, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to go over their minutes from our last meeting? Any questions or any comments? We can't hear you.
Procedure, I blame you. I would, requested you guys continue or table March 4th meeting, as it looks like you guys only have, it's still not open. As you all only have February 24th, but you also need to approve January's meeting minutes as well.
The January meeting, I thought we did that.
We was gonna do January and February at the special meeting, but you know, we would cut for time.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve January and February 2025?
Madam Chair, I have a question. Do we have distributed the January minutes?
Yeah,
We had them at our last meeting. And I thought but you know, Sylvia was taking the minutes then, so. So we did have them. I didn't bring them with me because I didn't. So I do need a motion to accept what we have in front of us and what we had last month.
The agenda calls for approval of February and March 4, not January. Do we need to revise the agenda?
I make a motion to revise the agenda item B to include January's meeting minutes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for January, February 24th and March 4th meeting minutes.
I haven't gotten March 4th.
Yeah,
And I will make a motion to approve
Yeah, but-
January and February's
Dan already did.
meeting.
Dan already did.
You just need a motion to table for
We need a motion to table.
March 4th. Because you don't have them. You need. This is crazy. I don't like that. You're gonna need a motion to table March 4th minutes due to me having to go over, you didn't get them. You didn't get them. I have them, but you didn't.
Okay,
So the agenda needs to be modified to be January meeting and February 24 meeting and not March 4 meeting.
correct,
Gotcha.
correct.
So I'm. But
No,
you
you just
already,
need to make a motion to table March 4th, because March 4th would have still needed to have been on this meeting as review of meeting minutes, because it was a special meeting done in March. So you can keep it the same. There's no amending to remove. You guys just decide amongst yourselves whether or not you want to table the minutes until you have the opportunity to review them.
as well, motion to table the March 4 minutes for review and approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Statement of purpose. Please.
Historic preservation is good for cities, not just good. Historic preservation is great for cities. The reasons historic preservation is great for cities are multiple: aesthetic, symbolic, cultural, social, educational, economic, and others. The erection, construction, enlargement, alteration, repair, demolition, color change, moving, or maintenance of any building, structure, or appurtenance which is begun, continued, or maintained contrary to any provisions in this chapter 62 is hereby declared to be a nuisance and in violation of this chapter and unlawful. Any person, whether as a principal agent, owner, lessee, tenant, contractor, builder, architect, engineer, or otherwise who violates any provisions of this chapter shall be punished as provided in section 1 through 7 of the Michigan City, Indiana Code. Michigan City Code, section 62-2.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the motion from Mr. Granquist was to delete the item March 4th from the agenda. In other words, he used the word table, but we're deleting it. But I don't think that there was actually a completed motion regarding the minutes from both January and February.
Yes, Dan made that
He made a
motion
motion, but.
and it was second. Yes. It was a second.
Anthony made the motion. Anthony made the motion. I just called attention to the fact that we needed to revise the agenda. So he moved to incorporate the January minutes.
In February.
Well, February was already on the agenda. And then I moved to delete or table the March 4.
We tabled the March 4th till our next meeting.
And we did have a vote on the March 4 one, but I don't recall if we had one.
Well, we can do another one. All in favor of Anthony's motion and Dan's second for the minutes of January and February, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. And I want to apologize to everyone. I'm usually not this dense, but okay. And thank you, Pat. Any correspondence come in? Sylvia, you didn't get any? You didn't get any correspondence?
Yes. However, due to a conflict of the application process, they weren't reviewed because for me, the application that I have states that there's a fee. And so if the fee is not covered, I don't move forward.
Okay. We'll move on to the C of A's.
Okay, the first one, COA 2025-003 for 813 Franklin Street was to make some changes to the storefront. Last month and the February meeting, you gave them a 30-day extension. I reached out to the owners about 10 days ago to see where they were with that. They did not have revised drawings back yet from their architect. So nothing has changed. It's still the same project that we're looking at there. So the 30 days that you have to review will be up. So you need to do something tonight, either approve as submitted or with whatever conditions you want to make, or you could deny it. They can always come back and reapply.
And I do not see her here tonight.
No,
Is it possible to grant another extension?
just one.
Okay. Then I make a motion to deny this petition.
I second.
All in
Would
favor?
you please
Yes,
include the
COA.
address and the COA number?
Yes, COA 2025-003, 813 Franklin Street.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. All right.
Okay, the next COA 2025-004 for 205 East 10th Street was for windows. You reviewed this one at our special meeting on March 4th. You also gave them a 30-day extension. I see that they're here tonight. I don't have any further information beyond what we discussed at the last meeting, so you probably want to talk to the owners.
Good evening. Hi.
Hello,
We're back.
we're glad.
On behalf of my wife, myself and my wife Janet, we'd like to publicly address this board about the application we presented to obtain a certificate of appropriateness on our unremarkable, non-contributing historical building we wanted to upgrade by putting in new windows. This is our third meeting in regards to getting approval to put in new windows on our property that we have taken care of for over 30 years. We did do as your board requested and made multiple calls to persons listed on the vendor list that was provided to me by Deb. Only 2 persons responded and showed up at our property to quote a price to repair our windows. Both of them were from South Bend. Simon and Doug were their first names. Neither of them indicated they had any experience at all in repairing historical windows. I asked if there was a window that they had done that I could look at. Simon said he hadn't done any. And Doug indicated that a week before he had taken a course given by the South Bend Historical Association, I guess, for $30. So he had taken a course about doing it, but he has not done any windows. Both their estimates to repair the windows were much higher than the quote that we had to put in new windows. We are very disappointed with this situation, with this board in this process. It has not been encouraging, and at times it seems disrespectful to us as community members who have taken care of an old building in some very dark years on the north end and maintained our property in a respectful manner. Our efforts to make our unremarkable, non-contributing Italiate style historical building a bit more appealing have gone unnoticed by you and your board. And we do hereby withdraw our application for a certificate of appropriateness, and we have canceled our contract with Window World. And that's all we have to say.
I'm sorry to hear that. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you give me a rough idea of what the cost difference is between the vinyl and wood windows with aluminum cladding?
We never were able to get a vendor to come out and price it for the window cladding. So most of them are vinyl products now. So we tried the Anderson. The ones that were listed were the ones that we made calls to, and we never ended up a price for those. We just got the prices for the repairing of the current windows. So I don't know. I can only assume that they're going to be more than the vinyl. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry for your
Thank you.
inconvenience.
Before we move on, Madam Chair, I have a question for staff about this. So from my understanding last time, it was that they wanted to put vinyl windows in the rest of their windows, correct?
Right, there's 2 or 3, I believe, vinyl windows already there. So 2 in the back, 1 on the, well, you can't see any of them from here, but anyways, there's 3.
Right, and the
And
rest
then they
would
want
be
to put
the
all,
5.
yeah, they want to put all the rest of the house
Would
vinyl.
this be a case where we make an exception to allow them to put the vinyl windows in, seeing how they already have 3 of them in there? They went through the process of trying to maintain the wood windows. Would it be staff recommendation or like appropriate for us to then go ahead and grant that request?
The guidelines say no vinyl. So that's up to you guys. If you want to make an exception, you need to have a really good reason for it. And that needs to be recorded. So the next person that comes along and says, I want to replace my vinyl windows because I have 40 windows and I have one vinyl one in the
Right,
back.
right.
And you let them do it. So, so it's well justified and documented, but that is entirely up to you guys for discussion.
But that is not up for our issue right now since they've withdrawn the petition and the advice of council. Do we accept their withdrawal as terminating this or do we need to deny it as well?
You can accept this as withdrawal, it's just terminating the application.
Okay.
And Anthony, the windows that were vinyl were put in without any permits.
Never mind that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's why I asked if they had gotten a price. I'd like to know what the cost difference is, because one of the things I'd like to propose is that now this is a rental property, so this is not their primary home. One of the requirements would be if we were going to provide some vehicle of offering people grants to offset the difference between vinyl and historically accurate windows, they would have to be a primary residence and they would have to demonstrate financial need. But I think we need to have that vehicle available to those people that come before us, because we want people to replace windows. And I think we need to offer people an option when they feel like they're up against a wall and can't do anything.
I agree. Everyone's so discouraged because I mean, I understand why we don't want the vinyl windows. But then on the other hand,
But the fact that they've never priced out what historically accurate windows would cost
Right.
means that they're just not interested in following the rules.
Mhm.
So I don't think we should grant exceptions to something like that. And like Deb said, we shouldn't be granting exceptions at all, because once you do it for one, then we've got to do it for all. So,
And I'm quite surprised that Renewal by Anderson did not contact them, because that's what I have in my house. And from the inside, they're wood and the outside is,
there are any number of window vendors out there that'd be more than happy to replace their windows.
yeah. Any other questions? Okay,
Okay, the next one is 2025-009 for 912 Franklin Street. Is there anyone here representing that? Not so. This was very last minute. I actually had this discussion over the phone at Mammoth Cave. So this is not one of my finer works here. She did provide a lot of information and there were a couple things I needed to talk to her about, and I was unable to do that today. So I was hoping there would be a representative here. So we will tackle this as best we can. So this is for 912 Franklin Street. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it because I wasn't here. It is a contributing building. It's contemporary, built around 1955. If you think about it, it's just the next building up from the Valentine Diner. So a little one story, used to have a bubble awning on the front. It's not there anymore. So what they're looking at doing is replacing the glass storefront system. So aluminum frames with glass, same size, same everything. Same way with the doors, they're typical commercial storefront doors. They want to replace those. They want to repair the front facade, installing new T111, which is that grooved plywood above the storefront, replace the soffit with new aluminum soffit, repair and repoint the brick. And there's quite a few pictures in their application information that I sent to you guys. Again, I was unable to get that in our slideshow up there. They want to repaint. The sides of the building are already painted, so that's not a new thing. Install new fabric shed style awnings. This would be sunbrella fabric awnings. I have two different colors for the two different building or businesses that are inside, and then installing a new blade sign. So the finding of fact, the storefront glass and the doors are a replacement in kind and can be approved by staff. I just didn't because it was coming before you today. So Existing wood on the upper front facade is deteriorated and should be replaced. However, T111 wood siding that's proposed for that is not recommended and generally not approved by the commission. That is spelled out in the guidelines. The size of the brick should match as closely as possible to the original in face, texture, width, height, mortar size, rake, and placement. The brick should be scraped and cleaned by the gentlest means possible prior to repainting. Painting previously painted brick can be approved by staff. The colors should be from the Sherwin-Williams Historic Exterior Color Palette or equivalent. Replacing the existing soffit with aluminum soffit could also be approved by staff. The awning style and material meet the Historic District guidelines. And the exact blade sign design, size, and location is unknown. She sent me a couple pictures of possibilities, but we don't have any specifics on them. So the recommended motion for the storefront glass and door replacement is approval. Front facade material replacement above the storefront, denial of the T111, but approval of replacement with a pre-approved material such as LP SmartSide, James Hardy, Boral True Exterior, or something similar. Replacing the soffit with new aluminum soffit, approval is recommended. Repairing and repointing the brick and painting, approval with the condition of final approval of paint color by staff. And that would need to be something from the historic color palette. For installing the new fabric shed style awnings, approval is submitted. Installing the new blade sign, denial for lack of information. I'm not opposed to a blade sign, but I need specifics. So, and you do too.
What is a blade sign?
That's the kind that sticks out from a building,
Perpendicular to it?
perpendicular.
Okay.
Which is really appropriate in the historic district. I can see how that would be very eye-catching for people coming in on the train. They could see that. So I understand the reasoning for it, and I'm not opposed to it, but I just need a specific design size and all that. So.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I'll make an initial motion simply regarding denial of the T111 and denial of the blade sign. Just limited to the denial for now, and then we can go on to approval later. So I make a motion to deny those two items.
Steve,
Janice to the COA and
Where are we? COA 2025-009, 912 Franklin Street, storefront.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve the other items as recommended on, again, on COA 2025-009, 912 Franklin Street. Motion to approve the other items 1, 3, 4, and 5 as recommended by staff, subject to applicable staff approval of paint color and replacement material for the front side facade.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
okay. And finally, for your review, we have COA 2025-010 for Noel Carlson, Lakeside Cottages, 119 East 9th Street. This is rated non-contributing, commercial style building built around 1925. So the proposed project is replacing the existing full panel steel entry door. You can see in the photo up there, or was up there. There it is.
There.
Not attractive. Definitely needs replacement and not historic. So they're looking to replace this with a full panel steel entry door with a full panel glass window. also steel entry door. The finding of fact, the existing door is not historic and is located on the rear of the building. The proposed style and material is appropriate for the rear of the building. And staff recommendation is approval as submitted.
Are you here to comment on that?
No, not unless you want me to comment on, no. There's very little window in this building, so all the glasses in the front of the building, so that it will really help to have a full glass panel in there to get some light in the back of the building. But
Is- This is right by the farmer's market, correct?
no, it's on the other side of Franklin Street,
Okay.
behind the old Oriental Pearl
Okay.
building.
All right, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself for the minutes?
Yeah, my name is Noel Carlson. I'm the contractor and part owner of this building.
Is any,
It's looking good. It's looking really good.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
it is, yeah.
so, well, we're glad to be able to help that building out because it's been kind of shabby for a long time.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
So what kind of a window is gonna go in?
It'll be a double pane, it'll be the steel entry door. We're gonna replace it with the same size door but most of the door will be glass. It'll be like a full view glass door. I mean, steel door, it'll be steel frame around the glass, but essentially a steel door with full view glass panel in it.
So it's all we're talking about is just the door there, not
the
the
door,
two
yeah.
windows?
No,
Okay.
That's all we're talking about today is the door.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for COA 2025-10 for, is it 117 or 119 9th Street?
Good question.
'Cause that marked out.
It's on
117
Okay.
is what I have.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, it's odd because there are two buildings on the same lot.
Oh,
So the water department classifies it as 117, the other building is 119, and it's a little
lucky
bit
you.
mixed up,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, great. Okay, I make the motion that we do the staff recommendations and approval as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, maintenance review. The only one I've got is for 801 Franklin Street. That's COA 2025-008. They were replacing a flat roof, can't be seen from the public way, and the gutters. So that was replacement in kind, and that was approved by staff. Okay. And the COA in progress, I was going to share some photos, did not have time to get those put up. But I talked to Nicole, can't think of her last name, but Nicole with Nick D. Barker. Thank you. Yes, Nicole Barker with Nick D. And she updated me that things were progressing well and the terracotta facade's going on well. And yeah, everything is looking good. She sent me some photos and I'm sorry, I don't have those, but I'll share them at the April meeting. So yeah, looking good.
Yeah, I wanted to comment also that now that they put the cornice on the building and then there's a lower cornice that kind of separates the brick from the stone that's on, it's gotten better looking.
It
than
did help
was.
us.
Yeah,
I would agree. Our family took the train to Chicago Saturday and we sat there for a little bit, so I had time to look at it. And yeah, that has really helped it.
yeah.
I would
Gives it a
agree.
little bit of scale down
Yeah.
at the street level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. That is good. So,
Do we have any commission reports? Any old tabled business?
so we've got the paint workshop coming up on April 19th, going to be at I don't know what you call that building. It's
It's
not a
the-
fire station, I
It's
guess.
the fire department central headquarters.
Okay, training
on
center.
Michigan, yeah.
Okay, training center.
It's where we had the last one.
So get that word out there. If anybody's able to do a Facebook post promotion for that, and then if you could send that to me, I could forward that on down to our central office and they would reshare that, which would get you some good publicity. So I would
Thank
appreciate
you,
that.
Amy.
So like to see as many of you there as we can.
And start time is,
Is it
10 o'clock.
Yes.
yes, thanks.
Should last about 2 hours, give or take a little. So Paul Hayden will be doing it. He's worked for Indiana Landmarks for a long time and has been remodeling houses probably, I don't know, 50 years, I would guess. He started very young and he's very experienced at it. So he's really good at sharing information, very knowledgeable and down to earth. So I think homeowners would really glean a lot of good information from that.
As far as the social media aspect, would we have to get approval from the mayor's office to, I know they've been really like strict on that, like posting and sharing out official business. I don't know if that would be official business, but I would, just to be safe, reach out to someone at the mayor's office.
I will call her. We had no issue when we did it.
Because I know, and then to that point too, I know they could post it on the
Website.
the Facebook page for the city. So yeah, that would be
Okay.
a wise choice.
I
to
will
do.
contact her tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever means we need to go through. I want to do it right, but we sure need to get that word out. So good. Thank you for that
And I-
advice.
I'll do a posting on the Nextdoor website, too,
Oh,
which gets a lot of readership.
Great.
thank you.
Good. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you can do an official one. I mean, obviously, but then, I mean, I can post it on Good News and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I-
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. New business.
So this is not on here, but I met with Wendy for a while beforehand. And so we were just talking over processes. I know y'all have suffered tremendously because information isn't flowing like it typically did. We've got a different, well, we don't really have a defined process. We're working on that. So hopefully going forward, things won't be arriving at 11 o'clock on Sunday night or whatever. And I can watch basketball next week. That would be good. I'd appreciate it. That's right. Because I'm like third in the family bracket. So anyways, to that end, we've got new members coming on. We've got 2 new commission members. So they're going to need training, and just as a refresher for everybody else and to help us understand the new ways that things are going to be happening, moving through the city, we thought it would be good to, instead of doing a workshop like preceding a meeting, to actually have a separate workshop where we've got a little more time. We're not worried about applicants coming in and we need to hurry, you know, so we've really got the time to do that. So we would like to set a date in April. If you all could help us with that to find something, I don't know. And do we need to do it in this room, or can we do it in that room over there, whatever that's called?
So what we'll do, good evening. How is everybody? All right. Yes, so I think I've met everybody. Well, you weren't here last time, so nice to see you. I'm Wendy Vacher. I'm the new Public Works Director for the city. I've been on board about a month. I think like day 2, I was at your first meeting. And obviously, we've had staff changes. We've got process changes in the city about how we're accepting applications and how we're doing business, and there's a lot going on. So I think it's a wonderful time. And Joyce, we talked a little bit earlier too, and Deb, thanks for coming by and talking to Sylvia and staff. So with the new commissioners, it's a great time maybe to get together and regroup. And just get to know one another and smooth out some things and have time to talk. So I think it would be great if y'all are amenable to prepare a joint agenda, right? Everybody weigh in. What do you want to talk about? Get organized. We'll make maps. We'll do what we need to do to help support, make some recommendations, and meet in like the EOC room. Because you don't have your computer. So we'll need to look on to verify that it's available. But would everybody be okay with that? Why don't we just go in that flat room and talk and, have maps and just
do it and do it like a workshop. And if you're comfortable with that, I think we would all get a lot out of it.
Mhm.
So,
Do you have a date in mind?
Absolutely.
well, I mean, I don't want to dictate it. I mean, if you're amenable to it, I'd like to open it up to all of you. I mean, hopefully everyone can check their calendars. Maybe we could pick two and then we'll double check the room and circle back. I mean, you're the commission members, so I think it's more important that all of you, especially that are here, and I will maybe step out and grab our new commissioner and see if she would like to participate in that decision. If you want to come up with a couple, then we'll circle back around and see which one works best.
I'll throw out Friday, April 4 or Wednesday, April 16 for starters.
Okay. And is there a time? Do you guys always meet in the evening? Is that the best?
Yes.
I will just say, I will be in Chicago for a meeting on April 4th,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't be here.
Well, why don't we try the 16th?
But
then?
16th is totally free. Is
Are there
another
any
date?
meeting dates you would be available during the week? Or is Friday the only day?
Well,
Well, the 16th is
the
the
Wednesday. Is a
Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, never mind. All right. I don't,
Okay.
obviously I don't have my calendar. Does the 16th seem, I'm getting some nods.
I'm good with that.
I will not be, I'll be in Chicago on the 16th. Yeah.
We're taking turns.
If it's, I mean, if we have to be physically present for it, then I can't do the 16th, but if we could attend virtually.
I think it's going to be very difficult to manage it virtually. I'll be honest with you. I'm not opposed to trying to do that, but to try to, you know what I
Makes
mean?
sense.
You know, but I don't want to leave you out, either.
What about the 23rd? Would that work?
23rd works for me,
That's fine with me.
23rd works for me.
Okay.
not for Deb.
I'm out that whole week. We're doing a lead window class that's 4 days long in Kendallville.
How about the 30th?
So
30th is fine.
Do you want to do it before, when's your next meeting?
The 28th.
The 28th.
it would be nice if we could squeeze it in before the 28th.
I think it would be I think it would be more productive and helpful for everybody, but you know, I mean, that's up to you. Is there any other options, or do you want me to put out a poll? I don't want to just put you on the spot, but I mean, I think it would be helpful if we could find a way to squeeze it in before the next meeting.
17th, which is a Thursday.
It's fine with me.
17th works for me.
Are we talking evening or daytime?
Evening.
Evening, it sounds like.
17 is not good for me.
Oh, it's
Elkhart Commission meets on the 17th.
So what, you know what we could do? All right, Sylvia offered, how about this, just as a thought? So, for our new commissioner, so I was gonna come snag you, see if you wanted to participate. So we were talking about doing, and welcome. I've only been here a month, so I'm pretty new as well. Doing, there was a discussion about doing a board workshop, and then we talked about expanding it and just getting it out of this meeting and just getting more together and probably in the EOC and developing a joint agenda and just, that's how I like to do it. Let's just sit down and talk and work through things and see how we can improve things. I've got a lot of ideas. We've talked a lot. So we're trying to find a date, preferably 1, 2 dates. That way we have an option. And obviously it's so hard. I mean, folks are busy. And so Sylvia said that what we could do tomorrow is send out a poll. You're going to send it out tonight. And if everybody wants to respond to it, we'll see what lines up. And then maybe that would be easier. And then we can check the meeting room at the same time and get back to everybody. Hopefully we can snag everybody. And I can definitely, in the EOC, we'll also look into virtual meetings and see if, in case somebody can't be here and what we can do. Cause I want to be as accommodating as possible. So would that work, Joyce?
I
Is
think-
everybody else okay with
I
that?
think that's okay.
And while we're all here, how about April 14, Monday, April 14?
Fine with me.
That works for me.
Is everybody good for April 14th?
Yep.
Amy, you said yes?
Yeah, it's better. It's the best one so far.
All right, so Sylvia, what we'll do, we're gonna hold the 14th and then we'll double check the meeting room. And either way, we'll find a place, okay? And since the date works, we'll get the location down and then we'll start working on a joint agenda.
But it doesn't matter because everybody's gonna be here, but meeting over there virtual.
Okay, well, everybody's
Yeah.
gonna be
Wait.
here, but I appreciate your point and I wanted to make a comment if that was, If that was okay, I know Drew's like, what is going on? All right, I'm sorry, Drew, I can't see you in the back of my head. Like the paint workshop. We definitely check with the mayor's office about, official meeting business being put out, and that's always good for consistency. But I mean, obviously, being able to just tell people about meetings and opportunities is always I'm going to say is always appropriate. But I also think it would be great moving forward to maybe see if we can videotape some of these things so that people could watch them if they can't be there. We won't be able to do that now, but maybe this is another one of those, hey, here's an idea. That way, let's say I can't be in town or I'm away and you have this fabulous person who's coming to do it. If you can tape it, then we could, when the new website's up, we could load that up and it could be like continuous learning and starting to really build that library of information. I think that would be maybe a good thing. Color and paint is a big deal for everybody, much less a historic district. So I think that would be really cool. So that was just some thoughts, and there's others. So I look forward to it. So we'll get it set
6 o'clock, okay?
if that's what works for you guys.
Does that work for everybody?
If it can't be any earlier.
Can we do
it's fine.
5:30? Anybody? All right, so we agree on the date. And how about everybody check their schedule? Let us know. I mean, it'd be great to go 5 to 7 or something, but I know y'all have jobs, or other things to do. So why don't we agree on the date? We'll agree on the evening, and then we'll nail down some of the particulars, and you can just key in with Sylvia and let her know. Is that okay? Would that work?
And this is to work on rules and procedures. No?
Rules and procedures, ideas. I have questions that I know that y'all will help me. So just understand kind of how we've done it and what are you interested in and what might you be interested in the future. That we've got some other process ideas, being more proactive about how we communicate. We still need to talk about the door hanger, even if there's no knob. Then we have a new application process. There's just so many if we get them all in one, I think that it would be really great. And then we can also listen to thoughts and ideas. We're going to get a lot more interest. We're going to see a lot more development. It's coming. The phone is ringing, and a lot of it's going to be happening in a place where obviously we have our overlap in we have our historic districts, but there's also other zoning codes and things that overlap, and we just want to be as communicative as possible. And Deb and I talked, and also Joyce, we talked a little bit. We'll talk more. How can we be more proactive to help people before they go too far? Come in and meet with us. Do you understand where you are? Do you understand the regs that apply to you? Before you go out and pay a lot of money for a designer or construction plans, here's what we're looking for. Here's why. And just maybe get ahead of some of that, because I think we're going to see a lot more applications.
So this will be a non-voting workshop?
Absolutely.
open to the
Information
public?
only, information sharing.
Open to the
No,
public announced?
they can. I mean, it's definitely not a closed meeting, but it's not something I think that, and I'll check, do we need to publish that as a public meeting? I don't know. We do. We could do that.
48 hours.
48 hours. So we'll do what we have to do, follow the rules. And then we'll go from there and we'll see. It's always nice to just get in a room and talk, and there's no decisions being made, just information. So does that sound good?
And if you guys have,
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
yeah, I'm extremely loud, so I don't,
It's
Yeah,
that's why I'm.
right. You got to speak into the microphone.
So if you have flyers, items, things that you're going to send out, can you please send them to me before they get distributed so that I can make sure that our office is on board with what you have, and then I know what you guys have going on as far as when we start releasing the information for the workshops, for the public, for this meeting and things of that nature. That's important.
okay.
Okay, so next new business, I guess. J&B West Roofing reached out to me and wondered if we would be willing to let their siding sales representative come and speak tonight about siding. So is that you?
Are you from JB West?
No,
Okay, I guess
Well,
they're not going to speak
I'm
tonight.
sorry about that. They had some products they wanted the commission to be aware of. And I said,
Maybe they
well,
forgot.
it might have. I sent him a reminder last week and Jessica, who usually submits their COA applications, said she checked their calendar and we were on it. So
Oh.
I guess they're in the same time zone, I think. aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll show up next month, but I thought it could be educational that I wanted them to bring a sample and explain the product to us. So I think it's always good to learn about new things that are out there. Whether that's something we want to approve or not, I don't know, because I haven't seen it.
We could make some time at the workshop if you wanted to include a few, or we could do a separate one too. Because we can always do that, right?
Or
I
they
mean, we
could
can,
come to the.
you can do
paint-
what you want to do.
They could come to the paint workshop, maybe. I don't know if
Or
that.
something like that.
Too much.
Yeah,
There'll be more too, maybe more
I
suggestions.
don't know.
and good
I'll
ideas.
reach out to them and see what works for them and we'll connect with them sometime. So, okay, we don't have that. And I sent out the rules of procedure. I don't know if that's something we want to take time and look over tonight. This has all the updates, the one I sent you. So these are, Kyle started it and then Steve reviewed it and I've made a lot of changes based on everything they've said. So this is the most current version of the rules of procedure. So I don't know if that's something you want to talk about and or vote on tonight.
I have a
It's up to you.
question. Was it when we did this last time, I think we voted on the first 5 or 6 articles. Would we then have to vote
Yes.
on and approve I think it was 7 through,
7 through
11.
the end, whatever that is. Yes. Mhm.
and would that have to take place today or?
Madam Chair, my recollection is that the last meeting when we discussed this, there was a suggestion that you approve what had been reviewed, which was certain sections, but not the entire thing.
Mhm.
However, you had in front of you the entire thing. My recollection is that there was a motion to pass it. And with that came the comment of the motioner that we could always change it if we have new suggestions and new changes. That's what I recall was voted on
Yeah.
and passed. That,
That does sound right
Yeah.
now that you say that.
That
Yes.
is my recollection as
Yes.
well.
Okay, I
So
thought
this-
that happened, but I didn't know if it.
Well,
So
yeah,
this
that's
is-
because you
we
were
have
famous.
rules.
You're on TV.
And
Thank you,
I
Steve.
received this document of the procedures, but I've not fully reviewed it. So unless someone has comments about it, I'm not prepared to
Okay.
study or vote on anything right now.
Madam Chair, may I speak to that just briefly?
Please.
I believe that it's the intention of the planning department to make a more thorough review of even that document. And that you can expect that will be revisited with suggested changes as part of a unification process regarding all of the rules and procedures of all of the departments under the building department purview. So if you could be patient, we have rules in place. We can live with those for now. They're at best adequate, but I think we can improve on it, and I believe that we will.
Does everyone agree with that and understand?
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have any public comment? If you want to speak, you can come to the microphone. Mhm. Be careful.
All right, I'm currently, my name is Rich, last name Breedy. It's my wife Ailsa. We came here just to go ahead and get acquainted with the process that you have here. Because we have kind of spoken to several contractors. What we had hoped to do was build a garage. We're not all that far from the couple that was there, and we're trying to find out what we're up against. because some of the contractors kind of don't even want to go there. They're kind of frightened by you guys. And furthermore, right now I've only had one bid for this garage. And I don't even know at this point if you would even, say, yes, you can go along with it. My particular house has absolutely no historical significance. We bought it 12 years ago for my son. He's disabled. And he lived there for several years until the South Shore started their project and started banging right outside his door, because we are on 11th Street.
Okay.
And they bought the track right in front of the house. And I went to those meetings and they told me, oh no, we won't be moving the train any closer. Anyways, we have already made that house, I made it all handicapped accessible. Redid everything. It's lovely on the inside. We feel very comfortable there. And we wanted to be part, my retirement is coming. My wife has already made residence there ahead of us. But without a garage, it's not feasible. And so far, the only quote that we got from a gentleman who was willing to make a quote was $65,000.
For a garage?
Correct. For a garage. That's correct. $65,000 for a garage. And that, in my business, what I've always learned, this is like a non-quote. Sure, we'll do it. If you give me $65,000, I'll get involved.
Right.
No, not too many people are, we've talked to others and nobody seems to want to get involved. We do have someone else coming out, scheduled for a site look at this a week from this coming Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, they're up at 41,000 now, and they haven't even seen the site yet. Yeah. So, I mean, this is something, when I initially walked upstairs and asked, I said, who's going to do it? So I thought myself and a friend could build it. It's only a garage. And he says, well, no, because your friend is, he would have to be licensed. And sure, I'm not, I'm coming at 63. I'm not going to build it by myself. I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that estimate is supposed to come out. This guy's supposed to come out. I don't know where it's going to take it, but at the end of the day, this is a garage that we picked. There's nothing of any historical look to this garage that we got, and we're already up at this point. My wife had said it's $65,000 for the other. We won't go there. We said maybe we could we can draw the line. Anyways, if it's anything above that, we love the house. At this point, the irony is almost all these homes are rentals. And here we are wanting to move in and make an improvement to the place. I mean, literally, the house right behind us is falling down. The one behind us, the one next door across the street from us, it's finished on the outside. It's still reeling from the last hailstorm, but the inside has been gutted. And there's nothing historical about that home. Then there's another home that it's all wood that I don't see the owner going ahead and taking, I don't think the owners are going to go ahead and take it, because I believe he Section 8'd it, and it is wood siding. And from what I understand, you're not going to allow. So yeah, it would be simple to get out there and paint. But this guy's just collecting a check. I don't see.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I have a question.
Okay.
So
Please, question.
does it, because I'm not familiar with building a garage and like what it would cost and whatnot, but are they giving you that price for like a 2-car garage or?
It is a 2-car garage, yes.
Okay, because that 65,000,
They're doing that because they don't want to do the job.
Yeah,
That's
just
the way I
blew
took
my
it.
mind.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
what-
wouldn't want to build a garage either.
And
I
what-
can't tell you how many people I know that have homes on Levin Street that were promised by the South Shore that they were going to buy their homes and now have backed out. So those people don't know what to do because they thought they were sold and now they're not.
Yeah,
So-
we had no promises. I mean, this is over 12 years ago we moved there.
Sure.
We had no promises and at the time, you know, I made it perfect for my son. It was good. And then the project happened. I mean, I did look at it, of course. When I initially bought the place, there were like 5 different alternatives that they hadn't chosen which one. And I thought to myself, well, out of all of I saw others as much more viable options, but they saw it differently. So, but at least, like I said, I attended the meeting and I looked at their plans and I said, you know, it looks like it, and for the life of me, if you want to look at that, my wife will get up there and she'll scream because they tore down all the homes on the other side of the street in the name of saying that they were going to straighten out the tracks. And you want to hear the irony? Those homes were probably some of the more historical looking homes out of the homes that, and those are the ones, and now there's a big field.
Yeah.
And now our homes, like I said, fine. At least when the residential train goes by, it's quiet enough now that they made a quiet zone.
Right.
If we can get accustomed to the 2:30 morning of the house going like this
Shaking.
when the bone shaker goes by.
Yeah.
Most people would think that we're crazy for wanting to go ahead and live there, but my wife and I enjoy it. You know, I mean, not the train aspect so much, but you know, you can't fight the South Shore.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a design for the garage, a drawing?
Ironically, it's very basic.
So I don't need to see it. No, I don't need to see it. I just want to know though, are the contractors bidding on something specific? Do they have a drawing that they're bidding on?
Actually, this second one does, because the second one is nothing more than the Amish, you know, over on 20.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Amish structures there or whatever.
So how about we do this?
Schedule a meeting?
Yes.
I would love that.
Yes, I am Sylvia Martin. I'm in the planning department, all right? And but I also deal a lot with, you know, zoning and setbacks and things of that nature and trying to find alternatives. And I can hear your passion and I see that you want some assistance. So you can come and we can sit down with your sketch and we can find the best alternative for you if that may help get you better bids.
Yeah, and that'd be fantastic. Like, as I said, the Amish on 20 are scheduled for a site a week from Wednesday. And like I said, they're already up at 41 and they haven't seen the site. So before I know it, maybe they'll be quoting me that 65. I mean, and it's.
Yeah, you come in and we will definitely figure it out. Yeah.
I hope so, because, I mean, we're really looking forward to this, you know, it's my retirement around the corner. We're looking forward to it. And, if not anything like that, it's like it chases us out. It just
Let's
chases
try.
us out.
Let us try first and then, you know, then we can have the next conversation, but please allow me to assist you.
All right.
And give me a call and we'll figure it out. Okay.
Maybe
And I have a question of Deb, for Deb. Is there information in our guidelines that talk about structures in the back of a historic building?
They only refer to garages that are already there. So this would be under new construction.
That's why I want
So
you to
when you're looking at new construction, you know, obviously don't have to match anything that's already there. It just needs to be compatible and it needs to meet the zoning regulations. So you're not going to put up a 3-story garage behind the house. That's not going to work. But just a typical garage is fine. There's some material requirements that are in there, but it's nothing unusual.
May I inquire specifically about the roof? I very much would like to make it a metal roof. Would that not look better and be more historic looking, then, or do you want me to put up a thatch roof? This is sarcasm, okay?
All of it at once.
Yeah.
All right.
And just so you know, in the website, there is
There is.
these
I know.
guidelines.
I did.
Page 40 and 41 talks about new additions, and so there's a lot of, so if you just kind of get a feel for what is required based on
Mhm.
this.
I did go ahead and I didn't go into great lengths, but I did peruse over it. I'm no lawyer, I'm no such, but you know, I'm just saying.
This is more of a
I'm not a-
zoning, this is
not
more of a
sure.
zoning thing, and we can, get your sketch, and in that way, we can holistically answer the questions, because I'll be able to answer zoning questions, and if it did turn out to be a historic preservation, historic situation, then I can, give it to them.
May I have that card?
And after you move in,
No problem.
I will get it
Afterwards.
for you.
Thank you. for your-
after you move into the house,
Yep.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, you won't even hear it. I grew up next to the railroad.
we run a fan. We don't hear it now.
There you go.
We stay there as much as I can. My job keeps me currently, but not for long.
Good, good. Well, there's a,
Thank you.
yep.
So, Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. I was urging to get up there. Thanks for you giving me the time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Any staff have any comment for us?
Yes, I have a couple of comments. I wanted to just continue what I had mentioned earlier. I think we should look for sources of revenue that we can assist homeowners, people that live in the structures and can demonstrate financial need, that we can look for some sources of funding to help offset the costs of improvements to their property. And so I was wondering if we should think about directing a letter to the Redevelopment Commission and see if they would be willing to be a source of funding. And I mean, there's a whole lot that would have to be involved. We'd have to figure out who's qualified, who's going to do the follow-up, how do they prove that they are, meeting the financial guideline? Is it 2 or 3 times the minimum, the median income for the area? There's a whole lot of stuff that would have to be worked out, but I think we at least have to start the ball rolling in some way to approach the Redevelopment Commission and see if we can get somewhere with that as a source of funding.
That's a good idea. I was just looking today because I got some information. I think it's the Office of Community Development, where they provide owner-occupied assistance through the state for communities, but it's a whole grant writing process and so forth. So I don't know, a lot of it would have to be coordinated through the city government to apply for it, but there are some things out there, and that might be part of the workshop if we can look at some of that kind of stuff to coordinate on a holistic basis with the city to replace roofs and windows and things like that.
Right.
With some state funding there.
Right.
Especially since the grant
Can't hear
administrator is
you.
on and I was being sarcastic. Especially since the grant administrator is on your board.
Great workshop topic. Let's do that.
Okay, and then another thing is I'm wondering if we need to think about charging a fee for a COA application.
Talk about that too.
Okay, good.
You read my mind.
Because perhaps monies generated from that could go into a historic preservation fund that could also become a source of grants for homeowners. So let's keep that in the book.
And kind of on that same vein, we actually had the Anderson window rep come in a few meetings ago to help out a homeowner that he was working with. Maybe we could contact him and get an idea of pricing that he has
Mhm.
so that we can understand what a window costs, what an Anderson approved on our list window.
He said he called them and they were coming out next week or something.
But I mean, as a board, we
Oh,
could have
as
him
the
come and give us some kind of an idea of what, because I'm sure he's aware of the price differentials.
Yeah.
And he could help us with that.
But that would be good general knowledge for us to have, but every individual project is so unique in its costs and, what's involved and, so it can vary a lot. We're not talking about just the window cost, but it's everything involved with putting it in and tearing the old out and all of that. So. Deb, I was a little surprised that the gentleman said that they couldn't find, that the guys that we recommended wouldn't give them a bid for repairing the windows.
I'm really surprised by that. The one in particular I know is repairing some windows in Logansport. I've also seen windows he repaired in his own house. I've seen them with my own eyes,
Okay.
so he might not have a sample. I mean, you'd have to go somewhere to see his work, but
Yeah,
I know he has done work.
okay.
The other guy I'm not familiar with. He's just a name that was passed on to me from a colleague, and I don't know his history, but I also know he went to do some bids in Logansport. There's a big project going on down
Okay.
there. So I can't speak to how many he's actually done, but the one, he's actually fixing some windows here in Michigan City. You remember that we had somebody that came in and we asked him to look at repair first, and they were able to find somebody within about 4 days to work on their windows. That's who they got. Yes. Yes.
So maybe this is another good topic for the workshop. How do we develop a validated resource list? Somehow, you know what I mean? Just more reliable, or be able to give more information so that it's like, hey, here's your options. We're not recommending anybody specifically, but here are people that we're aware of, and here's their information. And that way, you know, like to the point of trying to help people, also we can help ourselves, help other people, and say, hey, here are some resources, places that you can go that we've spoken with and that we've validated, you know?
It's
something
good
like
to
that.
have that locally, but I will say we do provide that.
Yeah.
And so we have a list that we give people. So those were only a couple of the people. The list is pages long.
Right, so maybe we
So-
could think about that.
Yeah.
I just, you know,
Yeah.
that way we're validating things.
Mm.
Again, I don't know all of it, but it's another good topic to come back through and visit, and maybe revisit it like once a year. I would recommend that you do this kind of workshop once a year. Because things change and resources change and grants change and government changes. So but it's another great topic, and staffs change.
And the hard thing is you don't know what you're really being told,
Precisely.
which is very hard to sit here when you know we had one of those workshops and there were men there and they showed
Right.
how to do that. And then being told that they had never done it was hard to sit and
Yeah,
listen to.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we can put that on there too, and let, you know, and all we can do is do our best to
Yeah.
provide the best information possible, and to be consistent, and to provide resources, and to think about the future and what future resources might look like to help people. So I think that's going to be great for the workshop, and we'll develop a joint agenda, and it ought to be fun. We'll talk about all kinds of things. So good ideas though.
So in terms of any action at this point, should we wait till after the workshop, or should I'd be willing to draft a letter?
I was going to ask you if you would start to
And
do
I
that.
can distribute it to everybody, and you can all give me your feedback and comments, and then maybe we can talk about it at the next meeting.
That would be great, Larry, if you do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Larry.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And for my comment, I appreciate what Sylvia and Wendy have represented as far as working with people in the community here, because we want to be community friendly. We do have guidelines. It's the Michigan City Common Council Code that we have to comply with. And there's guidelines and there's rules, but we want the public to know that we're trying to do everything we can to be helpful and maintain the good character of our community here. So we appreciate you coming in to talk and share with us, and we look forward to our staff working with you. Thank you very much.
Any other comment? We'll call for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.